Welcome. Scott here. Due to major changes to my working life, from this event onwards, I will be starting to do the condensed version of the boss guides. I will still do the fully pledged versions if the fight demands it. Here is a quick boss guide for the upcoming Intersecting Wills event, a bouquet of thoughts and feelings featuring Aerith from Final Fantasy VII. The event synergy units are Aerith, Rinoa, Kurasame and Alphinaud. Both Aerith and Kurasame are getting their C90 awakenings and reworks. Aerith FR will also be making its debut. All event characters will be getting their force enhancements. We will be fighting 2 Griffin which has 85 million HP each. They don't have any major resistances. The turn requirement is 75. The HP requirements is 15,000. Before I continue further, here is a small disclaimer clause for the video. The guide is written based on the time that the event was released for the Japanese version. Please do note that it is possible that the boss fight mechanics might differ when the actual event is released in global. Like most other Shinryu fights, the boss gains increased brave damage and gain resistances at start of the fight and 79% HP threshold. Bringing a support like Lunafreya, Charlotta, Aerith, Ramza, Selpha that grants auras will make your fight easier. As the boss gains substantial boost to their defenses with the auras, it is important to inflict debuffs that lower their defenses. Similar to the ongoing raid event, the fight features another elemental lockout. All brave damage dealt except from ice elemental or non-elemental will face a brave damage resistance of 100%. You can still bypass this with brave cap damage or rainbow, brave gains mechanics like Katesith or Charlotta or retain brave overflow mechanics like snow. You can bring ice enchanters for the fight. Currently only 2 of the 5 ice enchanters have their force enhancements unlocked and they are Lunafreya and Kurasame. Kurasame also offers party ice enchant with his LDCA. He also offers one of the strongest HP damage up debuff. I will highly recommend anyone who is new to pull for the banner. Other ice enchanter options are Celis, Onion Knight and Snow. This fight features a lot of framed buffs and the boss can inflict some annoying debuffs as well. The featured FR unit, Aerith can negate both mechanics with her Seal Evil. For buff negation, you can use either Aerith or Yuffie. Vincent also has buff negation with his BT aura, however the elemental lockout will make him a bit unsuitable to be used for the fight. Alternatively, you can just block the buff slots with 8 framed debuffs or bring a Dispeller. For debuff evasion, you can bring Aerith, Lena, Alphinaud, and Selpha. Selpha has 70% chance of debuff evasion and you can use Self to bring it to 100%. For debuff cleansers, you can bring either Baldheer, Pain, Pernello, or Yuna. Other than cleansing debuffs, both Baldheer and Pain are great AoE dispellers as well. As the fight don't have thresholds trigger or turn warp, it is also possible to do boss no turns with the standard nuker supported with follow-up, launch and delays. With Selpha friend support, Rinoa can solo the fight on her own. As we are no longer have Lufania plus fights, the boss guide will be focused primarily on Shinryu fights. In Shinryu, you need to understand the effects gained by the boss as the force gauge build up, its force ability and its force time effect. If your party has low force levels, it is highly certain that the boss force gauge will build up faster than yours. To have a better understanding on the basics of the force gauge mechanics and Shinryu fights, I have done a video explaining the mechanics. I have included the link to the video under the comments and video description for your quick reference. For this fight, the boss force gauge is broken into 2 thresholds. Throughout the fight, the boss will gain 100% brave damage resistance to all elements except for ice and non-elemental brave damage. Avoid bringing other elemental units unless you have means to overcome them. When the boss gauge is more or equal to 40%, the bosses will use Rise to enter into Airborne mode. Upon activation, the boss gains brave equivalent to 100% of its initial brave along with 4 framed buffs, attack plus 50%, speed plus 50%, brave damage up plus 50% and defense plus 50% for 5 turns. the boss force gauge will build up faster as its HP is lowered. You can refer to the table on the screen for the percentages. At the 100% threshold, the boss will use its force ability, Feather Cologne plus plus, and activates its force time for 5 turns. The boss force ability, Feather Cologne plus plus, will result the boss grants self the following buffs for 1 turn: 100% attack up, 100% brave damage up, and 100% brave gain up, and unleash an AoE brave plus HP attack. Upon executing the attack, the buffs will be cancelled, and it will also inflict 3-turn Bane debuff along with 1-turn Charm. Due to the potent buffs that the boss gains before it uses its force ability, damage mitigation or party-wide last stand is highly recommended. Upon using the force ability, the boss will enter into its force time, where the gauge will start to emit a red hue with a counter of 5 on its gauge. When the force time is activated, the bosses will gain an enhancement that reduces HP damage from non-force time attacks by 999%. In other words, you won't be able to damage the boss unless you activate your FR ability. To freeze the enemy's force time effects, you need to use a force ability that doesn't deal brave damage. Currently, only Aerith FR fulfill this condition. Now let's go through the fight key mechanics. Generally, you will be fighting the bosses in 2 stances, grounded and airborne. The bosses will begin the fight in grounded mode. Once the force gauge is 40% and above, the boss will activate Rise, where it gains brave along with 4 framed buffs, and enter into airborne mode. It will go back to grounded mode upon once its force time is over. Let's briefly go through the moveset while the boss in various modes. While grounded, the boss attacks are mainly single target. It can use Aerora a single target, Wind Elemental Brave attack, or Onslaught a single target, Reset Break status, Brave plus HP attack. Onslaught can kill off an character if the targeted unit don't have any damage mitigation or you didn't inflict any attack down debuffs on the boss. While in airborne mode, the boss will alternate its attacks between Feather Shot and Feather Cologne. Feather Shot will result boss buff itself with 4 framed buffs, 50% attack up, speed up, brave damage up, and defense up for 5 turns, and unleash an AoE brave plus HP attack. Feather Cologne will result the boss resets its break status and unleash an AoE brave plus HP attack, and inflicting 1-turn Charm debuff and a framed Bane debuff for 3 turns. Charm debuff will result the affected target unable to act while inflict sap effects that is equivalent to the unit's current brave. Bane is a framed debuff that will cause the affected target unable to gain brave and lowers his or her resistance to brave and HP damage by 30%. As the debuffs are potent and annoying, it is important to bring debuff evasion units or debuff cleansers. You can also choose to block with 6 framed buffs. Debuff negation calls like Rinoa or Ragin also works well here. We have come to the last part of the guide. Recommended FR units for this fight are Aerith, Tifa, Tidus, Kor, Lunafreya, and Alphinaud. Generally, all non-elemental FR works well here. To speed up your force gauge filling, you can bring force chargers like Pernello, Selpha, Braska, Charlotta, and Lunafreya. You can also bring Ignis here, but make sure you don't use his LD. At max force levels, Aerith is a great force charger with her skills. Selpha, Pernello, and Aerith offers nice debuff evasion or cleansing utility. Lunafreya offers Ice Enchant, which will help a lot to improve your party damage output. Depending on your party setup, you can bring tanks that offer damage mitigation support and follow-up attackers. Follow-up attack units like Yang, Kain, Freya, Cisnei, Noctis, Cloud of Darkness works well here. Damage mitigation units like Gladio, Orin, and Kor will also help to ensure your party are safe from the boss AoE HP attacks. As the fight features a lot of annoying debuffs and lots of HP attacks, you can bring Lena or Alphinaud if you have them. Lena offers great healing and HP regen, while Alphinaud can provide an additional brave damage resistance. Kurasame, the other featured C90 unit, also get a nice rework. As long as his silent commander buff is up, he will enchant the party with ice. His hero debuff offers very potent HP damage up bonuses. I will highly recommend to pull for this banner for players who have just started. Even they don't have non-force enhancements, you can consider bringing Celis, Onion Knight, or Snow for their party-wide ice enchant. Before I end the guide, let's cover a bit on the featured FR unit. To be honest, Aerith has a pretty average FR, but she will become significantly better when she gets her BT and FR Echo in the future. Let's cover a bit on her FR conditions. Using a transformed Brave or HP command will grant 40% HP damage up boost to your force time. If the used ability batteries the party, you will gain an additional 20% HP damage boost. Aerith will gain 40% when she fulfills this condition. Other than Aerith, units that can fulfill both conditions are Yuna, Charlotta, Ursula, Lena, Porum, and Rome. In the future Hope will also fulfill the condition. Do note that Charlotta can fulfill with her transformed HP attacks if you give her Paladin Cecil or Lily set spheres. As Aerith's force ability is non-attacking, she will gain a head start of 150% HP damage bonus at the start of her force time. She is a valuable force gauge filler and charger. So do give her max force enhancement levels if you intend to use her. As her S1 Healing Wind is instant turn, Aerith can supercharge the force gauge with a follow-up attacker like Kain or Freya firing their spears and Lancet in the background before having the third character unleash a nuke attack when the force gauge is on the last few turns. Aerith S2 has high turn rate, can be used to fast fill your force gauge, bring forward her turns or revive a dead character. With this, I have come to the end of my boss guide presentation. Hopefully you find it useful. If you like the video, please give a like. Please subscribe to my channel for future gaming content. Good luck for the fight tomorrow. Bye.